Hey guys, my name is Olisa. Thank you so much for dropping by. Be sure to subscribe for more great content. Today's video is one that I actually shot literally like a month ago when someone asked me to, and then things have just been happening and other videos have been coming up, but I feel like it's very important that we discuss this today. After my Jumia haul, someone asked me to review the pressure cooker, and I was very grateful that she did because I don't think I would have touched it until today if she hadn't asked me. So thank you, and I'm sorry it's taken this long, but I am here to tell you that it's amazing, and if that's all you're here for, now you have your answer. So I'm going to be talking about the pressure cooker and a blender, a tabletop blender. I don't remember its technical name, but it's basic, not a blender, oh my gosh, a mixer. I'll just have a picture of it on screen because for the life of me, I cannot remember like a cake mixer, a stand cake mixer is exactly what we're talking about today. So we're going to be talking about these two appliances. I've actually been delaying the pressure cooker video because I also wanted to test it out. I got that appliance on Facebook. I've seen it on Jumia, but I think I got it on Facebook cheaper and the person delivered it to my house. So I was very excited. I just want to review the brand. Like when you see these types of mixers and these types of pressure cookers, if you look at them and you're like, are they any good? Are they actually worthwhile? I do have demonstrations of me using it in this video because I did record it when I used the pressure cooker. I cooked both chicken and beef and it was amazing both times. I had bought a rotisserie chicken for the oven, which apparently I still haven't reviewed, and I'm just remembering that now, so that will be coming up very soon. But the oven has a rotisserie function. So the rotisserie is when the chicken is like doing somersaults, the way you see it in those chip shops in town, you know? So I had bought a full chicken so that I can shove that prong inside it and like have it be doing somersaults in my house, right? Because the Luya and me needs to take full control of her chicken. I had bought it, but I've never gotten around to rotisserieing it in the oven, right? So I decided to take that full chicken and like put it in the pressure cooker, put water, put spices, leave it to pressure cook and like see what happens basically. I put it in when it was perfectly frozen, I believe, though I do have the footage, so I will be doing a voiceover with that because I'm literally trying to dig my brain to remember what that scenario was. I just remember a couple of things really stood out to me. So I put it in frozen. In 20 minutes, it was half cooked. So I added another 10 minutes and then it was fully, perfectly, perfection cooked from deep freezer frozen. So, I mean, that's really good, right? And then the other thing that I was concerned about is that the steam that comes from the pressure cooker, because my cooking area, like this is a cooking area, this is a shelf. So the steam is coming like directly up here and it was quite a lot. So I was worried it would like do damage to the shelf, like maybe make it like moist and like moldy or whatever. None of that happened. Everything was perfectly fine. The steam was a lot and I would not advise messing around with it. But I feel like the attachments that the pressure cooker comes with actually caters for everything. So the way it locks itself and it's like it locks itself under a hook, so even when the pressure goes up, it like can't explode upwards, and I feel like that's a really good safety measure. That's actually the reason I got that pressure cooker, because I feel safe with it. I don't want it exploding and like burning me with steam, right? So that's really good and that really worked well. So even the steam letting out part worked really well. Like I'm really happy with this pressure cooker, and I feel like I read reviews before I bought it. So on Jumia, they said that, because this is a 7-liter pressure cooker, if I'm not wrong, and it said that this lady said that she poured 5 liters of water in it and it filled it. So it seems the newer pressure cookers are smaller than advertised. So if you want a 5-liter pressure cooker, buy a 7-liter pressure cooker. If you want a 3-liter pressure cooker, buy a 5-liter pressure cooker, because it seems like they keep stepping it down for whatever reason. But for me, the size is absolute perfection. Even when I was cooking my meat, I left it on for the recommended amount of time and it wasn't properly cooked, so I had to add a little bit. So I feel like it's something that you're going to have to tweak as you get used to cooking in it. Then you'll get more of an instinct on like how you like your food. But for me, I also don't mind removing it from the pressure cooker and like putting it in the oven to like crust, especially the chicken, because now when it came out, it was very nicely, like it wasn't steamed or boiled, but then it was just really nicely cooked. Like there's a way rotisserie chicken just tastes that's just amazing, and I feel like I got the same thing sort of with the pressure cooker, but the skin was very soft. So if you want crunchy skin, you definitely need to throw it in the oven to like finish cooking in there, and then you have your crunchy skin. So I remember what happened with the meat is that I had left it on for, I think it's recommended for like 5 or 10 minutes or something. I left it on, it came out, it was still pink and a little bit bloody, so I put it back on the pressure cooker, but then instead of closing it up and like pressurizing it, because I felt like another 5 minutes might turn it into, you know, the slimy meat that's like falling apart, I felt like maybe that would be overcooked if I put it back in the pressure cooker. So I just put the pressure cooker back on the fire, turned it on, and didn't cover it. So it wasn't pressure cooking, it was just cooking. And my meat finished off perfectly fine that way, and I could watch it myself, right? So you actually do have different options with the pressure cooker, and I really appreciate that. Now, for the cake mixer, I am in love. I am a baker now, apparently. I make cakes in my house. I try not to make a habit of it because I don't want to end up weighing like 200 kgs. But I've actually, this is the second time, the time that I'm showing you is the second time that I've baked a cake in my oven with that mixer, and it's amazing. I've already talked about like my cake mix recipe, but I think I'll have it on screen just for anyone who missed that video. I'll also link it down below in case you want to watch it. Basically, I create a cake mix, like get all the flour, all the baking soda, and all the everything like in a container, and I keep it there, so whenever I need to scoop some like in a cup and make my mug cake, it's very simple. But then now I realize that I can just scoop some, put it in the mixing bowl, put a few eggs. So with this, I don't really follow a recipe. I just keep adding in the eggs until I like the consistency that the batter is beating with. I add in the eggs, I add in a bit of oil. I literally listen to my ancestors, and when I just feel like the oil is enough, then the oil is enough. Literally, that's how we work. And both times the cake has turned out amazing. So I mix it in like that, and then I had gotten chocolate chips from Nivers, so I put that in. I put white and dark chocolate chips in the first time, but then I didn't really taste the white chocolate chips, so there was no point. So this time I just had, since I had them, I used them. But then what I did was I got the cooking chocolate, the dark cooking chocolate, and I cut it into like little and big chunks, and then just mixed it into the batter, and then put it in the oven. I used parchment paper this time because that baking tin that I got from Kamkunji, I don't think it's very good. Like I feel like I just washed it like with a green sponge thing, not even like steel wool, and the non-stick coating was already like scraping off. So I used a parchment paper this time. Last time I was an idiot, I just poured it in dry. I didn't even like batter the pan because I'm not a baker. But after this last time, I feel like I am a baker. So I used a parchment paper, poured it in there, put it in the oven for 40 minutes. 40 minutes maximum temperature. Both the top and the bottom rungs were on because I didn't even want to Google if baking is just the top one or just the bottom one. Like I just could not be bothered. It came out, it was absolutely perfection. I baked myself a cake for my birthday, and everyone loved it. So yeah, very, very happy with the cake mixer. I like that it has so many different speeds. I don't like that it's not all black because I really wanted an all black one, but then I feel like I can live with it because it actually works, right? So I've tried beating, the first time I tried doing a more complicated like cake recipe because I wanted like the rolls and the whatever, but then it just didn't work out. So I just use a normal beaters, beat it on the maximum setting for a few minutes, and I keep stopping in between to like let the mortar rest, and it works perfectly. So if you are thinking about getting these two things, I definitely recommend it. I definitely think it's worth buying. The cake mixer, I think I got it for like 2,600 shillings plus 200 delivery, if I'm not wrong. The pressure cooker, I can go on Jumia and check that, so I'll just do that and like have it on the screen because I literally, this was a while ago that this video was supposed to come up, but I've had just way too much on my plate, so I wasn't able to get around to it. But I still hope that this video is helpful, so I'm gonna have the voiceover and like the demonstrations at the end of the video just in case you want more details, like more accurate details on like what I was doing there. But this is basically my review of the two appliances. They are 100% worth getting. These are things that are making my cooking life so much easier. Like if I decide I want a cake, because I ended up finding myself spending so much money on like Cake City cake because I love their cake, but now I can actually make cake for myself and have chocolate like chunks inside the cake, so every bite gives you a different experience of chocolate, and I just think that's amazing. Even for this last time that I made cake, I put in a sachet of of coffee, because apparently coffee really brings out the chocolatey taste, and just everyone loved it, and I'm really happy with myself. So yeah, I'm gonna end the talking part here. We're gonna jump right into the voiceover, but I hope this was helpful. Thumbs up if you like it. Be sure to subscribe down below, and I will see you in my next video. So as you've seen on the box, this is a 7-liter pressure cooker, and I bought the 7-liter one because from the reviews on Jumia, people said that the 5-liter was only holding 3 liters of water, the 7-liter was only holding 5 liters of water, so I thought I might as well go a little bit bigger than I think I will need, just to compensate in case it's actually holding a smaller amount. So as you've seen, everything comes disassembled, and you actually have to put it together like right out of the box, but it wasn't difficult at all because the screws already come on the souffleur thing. So you basically remove them and then screw them into the handles, which is really easy. This was my first time literally using a pressure cooker, so I was just trying to figure out like the different parts, the part for venting the steam, and like trying to see how secure it is, like how easy it would be to remove while there's no steam, you know. So yeah, also the reason I bought this pressure cooker is because it has those handles on the side, like on top of the handles it has the built-in mechanism to sort of hold the lid in place, so even if it really pressurizes, it doesn't like explode out on you, because I've heard stories of people like burning and scarring their faces from a pressure cooker exploding, so I've always been hesitant to use them. But since my aunt actually has one of these, and she told me about that technology that actually protects you from explosions, which is the only reason I bought one. So this is me attempting to secure it onto the handles onto the sides. I had to figure out if the handles go upwards or downwards because again, never used it. So eventually I managed to, and now we are at the gas. So I had bought a rotisserie chicken for like the whole rotating in the oven thing, but I ended up using it in my pressure cooker, and I have absolutely no regrets. It was so delicious, but because the chicken was directly from the freezer, the foil had actually frozen into some folds of the chicken. So this is me like struggling, trying to use like running water to like get the foil out, but then it completely refused. So I think I sort of shimmied it out with a knife and got most of it out, because I really didn't want to pressure cook it, like fully cook it to like the foil in, because I knew I wouldn't be stopping halfway through to remove it. So yeah, this is me hustling until I got it out. That's me checking that there's nothing inside my chicken, because for some reason I had like a Mr. Bean moment. I don't know if you watched that particular episode where he sticks his whole face into the chicken, and I was like, I need to make sure this is empty. But yeah, so this is my spice rack. I also got these little jars from Jumia, and to be honest, they're just okay. They do the job like I want them to, but I do wish they held a bigger capacity, and I do prefer round, like the round shape of things versus the square one, right? So there's gonna be a lot of like moving in this video because I'm trying to like adjust the camera so that you guys can actually see things clearly, so just try to ignore that. But yeah, I just used a lot of spices because I use a lot of spices when I'm cooking, but also because it is a full chicken that I'm cooking, and because I'm basically essentially steaming it, I want to make sure there's enough spices to like permeate the entire chicken, even though I'm not really giving it time to marinate, right? So pressure cooker, I think from the instructions I read that it was supposed to be a 20-minute cook or something. So I was like, in 20 minutes I need to have enough spices that it really saturates into every bit of the chicken, versus like the hour or so of boiling that I would have if I'm trying to get this full chicken from super frozen, like straight out of the freezer, to like a super cooked state, right? Including liquid spices. So I did put in honey, and I did put in soy sauce, and then I put in way too much water. Like in retrospect, that was way too much water, but part of my hope was that I could freeze some and use it as like chicken soup of some sort, and I did. So here it is 2:27 when I actually start the process of cooking the chicken. 250. So yeah, that's about 23 minutes that this has been cooking. This is me, so I think I turned it off at this point, if I'm not wrong. And this was me attempting to like make sure all the steaming is like done, like all the little knob has released all the steam before I even attempt to open the thing. So as you can see, I'm even using like a dishcloth here because I don't want to take chances at all of getting hurt in any shape or form. But after 23 minutes, because it did say cook for 20 minutes, so I felt like it should have been ready here, and once it comes out, it actually looks quite beautiful. So you've also seen that I've loosened the black knob right at the top, because when you tighten it, it rises up and really locks into those side panels. But then when you loosen it, it actually goes down and allows you to open up the thing. So that's what prevents the pressure from making like the top explode off, and like what makes this a safer device to use. So long story short, I love this pressure cooker, in case you can't tell. I absolutely adore it. Very, very easy to use. But you can see the amount of water I had put initially is basically what I still have inside here. So I'm just poking it with my knife, testing it to see if it's still frozen, if it's actually cooked. And as you can see, that is a beautiful, beautiful bird that is like low-key falling apart. I literally had to hold it with multiple things because I thought I could just like remove it, but that wasn't happening. So I just like dug my knife stabbed my knife right into the center and like scooped it out. And it was such a beautiful, beautiful bread. I didn't give it time to like roast. I didn't give it time to like sear on the sides, and you can see the color is perfection. Like everything looks so incredibly beautiful. This is me giving you an up close look, because unfortunately when I cut into it, it was a little bit raw on the inside still. The outside looked perfectly cooked, like beautiful, beautiful chicken. You can see it for yourself. But on the inside, it was still a little bit bloody, and I don't take chances with salmonella and like all these diseases waiting to kill you. I want my chicken fully, fully cooked. So I decided to give it a few more minutes, sent it right back into the pressure cooker. I didn't even like reduce the water or anything, which in looking back, I kind of wish I'd done all of that. But I did want to just put it back in the pressure cooker as is and like have it continue cooking. So I knew that side piece would cook faster than the rest of it, but I feel like at this point I was just like, it's literally 10 more minutes. I'm not gonna stress about it, you know. This is after about 15 minutes, so I give it 5 minutes for it to like heat up and pressurize again, and then like 10 minutes of actually cooking. And like I said, I knew the side piece would cook faster than the rest of the chicken, but I wasn't about to like mess with the times again and like put it in and remove it and like depressurize and repressurize it. So I was just like, you know what, if it's a little bit overcooked, I can leave with it because it's just steam, right? So this is me cutting into the next leg, and you can see everything is beautiful, perfectly cooked, very, very impressive. Super, super hot. I don't know why I'm insisting on like cutting it then. I even had to taste it at that point because I just had to know. And it had a beautiful, fresh, like very light and airy rotisserie taste versus like deep fried chicken or like boiled chicken or like roasted chicken. Like it definitely has its own taste. So that's something I'd definitely say like give it a shot, because I feel like you'd enjoy it. Because what ended up happening is that I actually chopped this chicken up into different pieces and like saved one for immediate eating because obviously I could not wait. But then the rest of it actually went into the freezer, and this is me showing you my sort of Tetris game that I'm playing with the freezer. So I put in 2 or 3 pieces into that container and just like stuffed it right at the back underneath already frozen things to like help with the freezing process. This is obviously after I'd allowed it to cool a little. Also took some of the soup that had been created from pressure cooking the chicken, and I froze that to be used as chicken stew, to be used as broth, to be used in other meals basically. And I put all those in containers, allowed them to cool down, and then this is me putting them in the freezer. Then later on I decided, you know what, since I'm already here, I'm already like pressure cooking everything and all those juicy spices are still inside the pan, I decided to put in a slice, like a chunk of beef, and see how long that would take to pressure cook. So because I use all of the exact same spices, I didn't mind like just putting it inside, because I actually cook my beef with chicken stew. So part of that was like in the process of like helping it cook and like get delicious and all of that. So I didn't have to use as many spices as I did originally with the chicken recipe, because this is already like a chickened up pan. I hope that's making sense. So yeah, again, I just like tightened it, make sure it was absolutely secure, put on the pressure steamer disperser thing, gave it a few minutes. I think I just give it like 10 minutes or something, and you saw the pressure thing was literally spinning like crazy, because that's what happens when it is sort of venting the pressure as the food is cooking. But now here I'm trying to manually vent the pressure, so I'm just moving it around, making sure there's no pressure left whatsoever when I actually open up the souffleur. So you can see turning the knob, it's going down and taking the cover down with it to make it loose for opening. And this is what the beef looks like. So this is the chicken that I had left left over that I had put aside for eating that night. So I wasn't eating like beef and chicken in the same night. That's ridiculous. But I really did want to test out the pressure cooker, and I knew once I washed it and put it away, I would not be touching it again. So as you can see, it is 90% cooked. It's just like, I wish I'd given it like 1 or 2 minutes, but that's the problem with pressure cookers, is that you'll never actually know how much more time it needs. So the good thing with meat is that even if it's a little bit pink, they just call that like medium rare meat, so it's not gonna kill you. So I was okay with like sampling a little bit of this one to still pink, but then this one went into the oven just for like that final little bit of perfection cooking. But overall, the pressure cooker is amazing. I absolutely love it. I have no regrets, especially at the price. I definitely think I paid less than 3,000 shillings for it, and I cannot recommend it enough. Absolutely love it. So yeah, I recommend that 1,000 times over. Okay, so since I keep telling myself I want to do cooking videos and I never end up posting them, I thought I would include a second review in this video of a stand mixer that I got recently. I've seen it on Jumia, I've seen it on so many Facebook pages. There's one page that just the advert caught me on the right day and I just ordered from them. So if I remember the page, I'll link it down below. But then this is a really common mixer basically that you'll see everywhere. So I thought I'd record myself baking a cake because I've actually become a bit of an expert with it, so I'm really happy. I don't actually do like direct measurements when I'm baking a cake. I literally just go with instinct and like whatever feels right, whatever consistency I'm okay with. Like it's kind of a bit of a guessing game, but what I've realized that you should do is that you should put in your eggs, because I tried the whole like separating the eggs and the egg yolk thing, and that just didn't work out for me. It turned out to be a complete waste of time because it made no difference whatsoever. So I ended up just putting as many cups of flour as I feel like putting. Like this is my pre-made flour recipe, and I'll have it on the screen in case you haven't seen that video. But basically I pre-make my cake mix and keep it in a container. So I just scoop out a bit of that, put it in the tin, crack a few eggs, mix it, test it out. If I need more eggs, I add it. But the first time I made this a bit too runny because I used the eggs to get the consistency that I wanted, and then by the time I added oil, it thinned it out even further, so I had to keep adding the powder. Then it ended up being way more cake than my tin really was comfortable holding. So the cake like expanded too high and like cracked and just became like a whole thing. So yeah, what I would say is add your oil in first, because, and also I don't have a measurement for the oil, I'm sorry, I literally just put it in until I'm like that feels good, that feels right. So yeah, just eyeball it, see whatever you're comfortable with. Don't put in too much. Maybe like 3 tablespoons would be like a really good even place to start if you're using maybe 3 cups of flour, right? Like as you bake, you'll actually get an instinct for it, which I'm quite surprised to be saying because I never thought I would be a baker. But basically, yeah, put in the oil first, then you'll see how much egg you need to put in to get the consistency that you want. And then as you're mixing it in, just take breaks and like scrape from the sides and like put it in, because you'll find there are pockets of really dry powder right on the edge at the bottom of the container that you're using, and you need to mix all of that in to get like a really good consistency. So yeah, I used this mixer. I absolutely love this mixer. First time I baked a cake, I poured the cake mix directly into the pan, and it was such a mess to clean up that I am never making that mistake again. So this cake made me pull out my wax paper, and you know what, I was really happy to use it, and I used it in the oven with no issues. So it actually showed me that I've just been like panicking myself for no reason, thinking it will burn in the oven, but then it won't. And this is me literally scraping off every bit of cake that I can get out of this. So yeah, this is me also putting in the cake mix into the pan, scraping off the sides, making sure every little drop gets inside the pan. Clearly I don't oil the parchment paper because I've already put oil into the cake, and because it's parchment paper, it will just peel right off the cake. Unlike putting the cake mix directly into the pan and then it burns onto the bottom of the pan, and even cleaning that pan is a bitch. Getting the cake off the pan is literally scraping, and it's the hardest job ever, and it's not even worth it. So you can see that I've introduced a cutting board to this mix. You might wonder why. I have chocolate chips that I picked up from Naivas, put those in there. I also have a dark chocolate cooking bar that I like to chop up and put into my cake. So here I also put in a bit of coffee because I heard that coffee actually sort of escalates the taste of chocolate in chocolate cake. So I thought I might as well include some. And here I am chopping up the dark chocolate. So I love chocolate on chocolate on chocolate, drowned in chocolate, dipped in even more chocolate. So yeah, there's no such thing as too much chocolate for me. So this is me just trying to make this cake as delicious as possible. And I think this is even the one that I baked for my birthday because I am an August baby and I was going to see my aunt and uncle, so I decided to bake a cake and go there with it. And I wanted to like go all out, which is why I've put so much chocolate in it, and everyone absolutely loved the cake. So yeah, this is really, really important. You can see how scraped on the sides that mixing bowl is, but basically I do just put all the cake on top and then I mix it right in and then I bake it and everything is perfection. So yeah, now the mixture is very, very lumpy, but then at least it's like a cake lump and not like a disgusting lump. And voila, 40 minutes later. I always bake my cakes for 40 minutes, and this is how it turned out. So I'm actually really happy with how delicious this was. I know it looks a little bit dark, but then that's just all the dark chocolate, like the extras that I added. And I've also tried adding in white chocolate, but then the chocolate chips just completely disappear, which is why I always end up going in with the dark chocolate anyway. But you can see from this peeling off process that the parchment paper works absolutely perfectly. The tin is still in really good condition, so it just needs a quick wash, but the parchment paper can just be tossed away. And here is my beautiful cake. I know it looks a little bit dark on the top, but you can see as I cut into it, the cake is absolutely soft, absolutely moist, absolutely delicious. And for best results, I'd say like put it in the fridge so that all the chocolate can like really reharden, because when you bite into it right now when it's still warm, the chocolate is a little bit more gooey, but then if you put it in the fridge, it actually does like harden, and then when you're biting it in, and then when you're biting into it, it's like you have chocolate sticks and like chocolate chunks inside it, which is really good. So I tend to have my chocolate cake with a bit of warm milk and everything is right in the world. So that is my review on those two appliances. I absolutely love them, 100% recommend them. I think they are definitely worth buying, definitely worth having in the house. Although this is literally how you build corona kgs, because you just sit around in the house eating nothing but like chicken and cake, and you're gonna have problems by the end of the year, right? So everything in moderation, but I do feel like these two appliances have definitely added like a little bit of that spice to my life. So I cannot recommend them to you guys enough. I hope this video is helpful. I hope this video is interesting. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what else in my house you want me to review, because I'm sort of like pre-shooting before I start packing for my move. So there is a house tour coming very, very soon, and that's kind of what I've been working on behind the scenes. So yeah, all of that is coming up. Be sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you in my next video.